But Draymond Green's value is terrific. But $100 million, unless that contract is 10 years, he's not a $100 million player.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
That was Freddie Coleman. First take. Yeah, what? Sounds like you're taking exception.
I love Freddie, but he's looking at it wrong.
Oh.
With the moves that the Warriors have made, they have to re-sign Draymond Green. It would come crumbling down. And I'm the guy 2 hours ago, that said I would take Poole's future over the next 3 for Draymond. I stand on that. But Freddie, if they're really, the Warriors are trying to maximize this Curry window, now with Poole gone, you have to have Dre.
You know, the one thing about Draymond's deal and where they are money-wise is while right now it saves the Warriors some money, it doesn't really save them money if they choose to go down a certain route. So here's what I'm getting at. Jordan Poole was owed, let's say, $130 million over the next 4 years. All right, they just took on Chris Paul's 30.
Yep.
All right, so they saved $100 million in real money. Okay. But now they're going to extend Draymond Green, most likely. So he was only going to make 27. So let's say he gets, just for kicks, 25, 25, 25.
All right.
That means of the $100 million you're saving
70.
from Jordan Poole, $50 million is now being given to Draymond. Okay? Now Clay becomes a free agent.
Gotcha. Do you have a replacement for Clay?
No.
No.
But what I'm saying is, let's say you give Clay $25 million for 25 and 25, which I don't think he'll take. But then, like, there goes Poole's money. And, like, that'll be the move. Like, that's all you'll be able to do at that point is re-sign Draymond, re-sign Clay.
And it's the
but
only
you can't really go anywhere
money.
from there either.
Because you can't get a player with those funds.
Exactly.
And so this is all you can do with those resources, Donnie. So, you know, the other day I told you the investors in Lake Up are popping champagne, but maybe they're not because they know this money they're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Now, the salary cap's going to go up. So there's no such thing as I shouldn't say there's no such thing, but salary cap's going to go up. So we'll figure how how that salary cap going up affects the Warriors. But look, it's just, 415. Klay Thompson and Chris Paul are gone. Well, you may be right, 415.
Well, the Paul one doesn't bother me. It's to Clay. How would you, who is that? Who is that guy that would take Clay's spot? Is that Moody? Is that a big year for me? I don't know. I'm asking, but man, Steiny, I can't even envision the Warriors without Clay.
Well, that'll be in
24. Just stepping in.
So in theory, right now, let's say the Warriors let Clay walk after next year. Steph Curry would be under contract for 55. Wiggins would be under contract for 26. Most likely, Draymond Green would be under contract for 26. Yeah. They'd have Gary Payton II, who would probably be under contract for $9 million. It's a player option. I can't imagine he's walking away. Looney's making $9 million. So already you're at 55 plus 50. That's 110, 120, 130. Boy, even with Clay coming off at the end of next year, you're not going to have significant money under the salary cap.
Gosh, Don, that's sobering. And I just remember the Bob Myers press conference, the portion where Joe Lacob was talking, and he talked about these cockamamie rules that the league has implemented. Steiny, I call them the Warrior rules or the Ballmer rules because that's who it affects. The guys that were spending, put money back into their team. But with that said, Joe Lacob had a comment, and I'm paraphrasing, like they were still going to find a way. But from right now, Steiny, it's like, Steiny, how's he going to find a way? Like, how can you maneuver around this? Because these are the term is these are the rules.
You have a championship core, like you said. They won it last year. Why can't they win it next year?
Well, the year before last.
Well, now it's going to be that.
Man.
I mean, a lot of people think that
I could.
messing around the edges is all you got to do, and you can get back and win a title.
And we're wondering, and I know Bob.
We may find that out firsthand.
Yeah, and Bob was being truthful. It's about his family, but I know another caller had brought it up, Steiny, but damn, if I'm Bob Myers, I'm at the house making a bologna sandwich for the kids or whatever, going for a walk. That's far more better than dealing with this. This is stress. When you know you want and need something, but you can't afford it. Oh,
Yep.
That's torture.
Well, it's something that was easily foreseen.
And that's
Easily
But you're the
foreseen.
only one that looked at it and held on.
And you know what? Here's the thing.
Man, oh, man.
Here's the thing where I'm going to really tell Warrior fans to chill the F out. Seriously. Because you can't be complaining about the situation they're in. They're in the situation they're in because they've got 4 titles and they've got Hall of Fame players. They're in the situation they're in because Steph Curry's one of the greatest players in NBA history, and they have to pay him $55 million. They're in this position because Klay Thompson's one of the best shooters in NBA history, and they had to pay him $43 million this year. The reason the Warriors are in this position is because Draymond Green's one of the most important glue guys that you can imagine. They got to pay him $27. The Warriors are in this position because they had to pay Andrew Wiggins because they needed athleticism if they were ever going to hope to win that title last year, which they did. And you can't develop a bench if you're paying or they just paid Jordan Poole $30. They had to trade him. You can't have it both ways. You can't. You can't say I want Steph, Klay, Dre, Wiggins, and then I want to go out and get a good bench. Doesn't happen. The rules precluded that even before the change of the rules. So, there was no avoiding this.
So, are you saying
That's what I
Warriors shouldn't
resent.
be mad if somehow
That's what
they
I
don't
resent.
get it, if they're not a player in regard to a threat to winning a championship because of what you just mentioned?
Of course, they shouldn't be mad. Why would they be mad?
No, hey.
I mean, you can be disappointed,
That's the word.
but how can you be mad?
And I ain't going to be disappointed for something that has not happened. But, man, just seeing what it is now in regard to cash strapped is real. And this team has been ignored. Joe Lacob has been in a Ferrari blowing past. Guru, get on. Dub Nation, get on. This is how I do it. And now that's finally, it seems, come to a screeching halt.
888-957-9570 is the number. And where are you at with the Warriors? You got Chris Paul. There may not be a lot of moves in the hopper that they can make. So how good's this team? Yes, and this is, 650, I'm glad you brought this up. Because I want to discuss how we're going to discuss something moving forward. How do we discuss Wiseman? Maybe not right now, but how do we discuss the Warriors' young players moving forward? 650 says, Steiny, they could have avoided this by drafting better. Yes, they could have.
And trading
So
the
how
picks.
long do we bring that up? Is that going to be Joe Barry Carroll and Kevin McHale?
It can be.
Okay.
And I think it's just in the embryo stages because now you're telling me or selling us the young players can't play for the Warriors when the Warriors themselves went out and handpicked those young players. We don't know what Wiseman is going to be, and now we got a list on what Jordan Poole is going to be. And I'm going to tell you what, Steiny, I'm going to come in here on a daily basis until our show is over talking about Jordan Poole if he averages 25 to 30 points a game.
What if I told you he's going to? That's not going to bother me. Now, if the Wizards make the playoffs, that would bother me. But I don't care if Jordan Poole averages 32 a game and they're 21 and 61. That wouldn't bother me as a Warrior fan.
Yeah, but if people had kept their hands to themselves, maybe Jordan Poole's a Warrior. It's like, I know you didn't like to see Jordan leave, but Steiny, he left because things that were outside of basketball.
We don't know that. It may just be playing time was a big factor.
Huh?
I mean, I'm not saying I know, but maybe it was more than just he was sick of Draymond Green. Right. Maybe it was like, never going to play as much as I want here. 415, this team has maxed out 4 championships, and I'm fine with that. We're no longer the team that has players signing with the Warriors for league minimum anymore.
Oh,
we have a core but no bench. That's how it's going to be for the next few years. Rookies on the bench. And yeah, I think so. Boston has good starters and a good bench. You know why? Because they haven't paid Tatum and Brown their monstrosity contracts yet.
They're coming.
Roger's in San Jose. What's going on, Raj? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Yeah, so just want to talk about like some of the free agency moves. We still have a lot of options out there in free agency with the vet minimum, and also maybe with the mid-level exception.
No mid-level.
I want to target is Torrey Craig. Maybe Brooke Lopez if we get lucky, and find that lob threat for Chris Paul, because let's not forget, Chris Paul was just a few years away from being the second-best player on a team that went to the finals. And Rick Celebrini, if he can keep him healthy like he has for a lot of injury-prone players in the past, I can see us, winning the West next year, and maybe get a guy like Mason Plumlee who can run the floor, who can play solid defense, and, be that lob threat off the bench.
Well, they only have a veteran minimum. So that's going to be the real issue.
If you had
Brooke Lopez was making $14 million. My favorite player, Mason Plumlee, he got paid, and rightfully so. Yeah, I'd love Mason Plumlee. Every Warrior fan would be happy to have Mason Plumlee. Problem is you can't get Mason Plumlee. Made $9 million. Why would Mason Plumlee take the veteran minimum when he could get the mid-level somewhere?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, to the people out there, the fans, if that doesn't excite you, the vet minimum, then Steiny, what we talked about with Andrew Wiggins being a part of a package is all the Warriors could do, and that's when it's getting super duper risky. But if we're talking about a Siakam or OG Anunoby, somebody of that, one of these quote unquote big boys, but maybe just a step down or a tier below, that you're going to have to gut yourself and go for it. Like that's the only way. And I don't see them doing that with Wiggins.
I mean, to me, Wiggins might be their only chance to make a significant move, but then again, you're giving away what people were calling their second best player just a year ago.
I'm calling them that now.
So sometimes it feels like the Warriors got to figure out kind of where they're at and where they're going. I think it's going to be some rough sledding, but hey, if they're going to try to do all they can for Steph Curry, then that's the way I want to see them go, and go full throttle. And I think the Chris Paul move shows that, here's the bottom line. They may be the Golden State Warriors right now may be operating 1 year at a time, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Because if they weren't, they would certainly think about extending Klay Thompson right now. And I don't think they're doing that.
But that year is with championship aspirations.
Which year?
The every year from here on, like next year, they think they can win a title with this move, you believe?
When you say they, who do you mean?
The Warriors themselves.
I don't think so.
And I don't either.
But Steve Kerr said they weren't a championship team last year.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're looking at the San Francisco Giants, who are 44-34, second place in the NL West, the surprise team of baseball to me, if not one of them. Steiny, there's not a walking soul, especially here in the Bay after the Correa, the Judge, courtship, all that. Where I'm going is, this is the beauty of what we do and why we follow and love sports. We think we know what's going to happen, but when it's all said and done, there's one person, the Lord, the baseball gods, and look what they're doing. And I know the season's still not over, but they're off to a great start. So as melancholy as I am and as down as I am because the Warrior culture couldn't save Jordan Poole, I believe, and now you go get rid of Poole for Chris Paul and what you think he has left, they've yet to lose a game. Free agency's this Friday. It looks like they're strapped. But until we actually see it pop off, Steiny, I guess I got to slow my roll on being despondent and being disappointed. But right now, I just don't know how anybody's excited about what the future holds and where they're going and what they can do to get better.
Well, I don't think you should have been like
gung-ho.
Yeah, what so you're telling me a week ago you were gung-ho about the offseason, but now they've acquired Chris Paul and now you're depressed?
I thought it would be another offseason of Jordan Poole getting better. I told you I ran down the list of Wiggins being here, Kuminga.
So you wanted it all internal development and then get rid of Draymond.
I wouldn't have been mad. You could say that.
But then the natural question is, how the hell were they going to win a title if Draymond's not on the team?
Well, you got Steph Curry, and then we talk about this vet minimum.
So you think they could?
Yeah, and now you got this Davis's son.
Wait, so you?
Yeah.
So you don't think the Warriors can win a title now?
I'm skeptical.
Okay.
Because of the firepower they left with Jordan Poole and what you replaced that with, and it was CP3. Now, please miss me with the calculations and the contract numbers because I know they could trade them come February, or you could just wait till you're off of them after next year's complete. But is that what we're doing now? You're telling me to look forward for something a year down the road? But some teams are living that way. The Warriors haven't had to live that way for a long, long time.
Well, they lived that way 4 years ago when they were 15 and 50.
But that was a fluke 15 and 50 because your star got hurt and you got blessed with something that you just flushed down the commode.
Star gets hurt a lot because he's getting older.
Where are you going? It's your first time today. You hadn't mentioned it, but over the weekend I heard it. The last 4 years, Chris Paul has played more regular season games. How many playoff games has he played and missed? I'll wait.
I don't know.
More than Steph.
Okay. The problem is Steph's not going anywhere if he can't play in the regular season because they're not going to be a high enough seed. So you pick your poison there, I think. So you think that the Warriors, let's say they have Jordan Poole. You think they could have let Draymond walk and you'd say they have a chance to win a title. But now, because Jordan Poole's gone for Chris Paul, even if Draymond comes back, they're not a title team.
I'm just skeptical. Yeah.
But they could have won a title just without Draymond, you think?
Well,
like if you would have you wanted to let, and I'm not saying you didn't.
I'm standing on it.
All I'm trying to say is,
Kuminga, go in there. Yeah, I think you could have matched what Draymond did production-wise in every metric. I think you could have got that. Okay, maybe not the assist. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe to the people in the back that say Curry would have been nothing without Draymond and the screens, I don't agree with that. So I would have been more willing to part with Draymond, no shocker here, with Draymond Green, keeping Jordan Poole and promoting Kuminga, as opposed to now Kuminga still blocked. You added another youngster that could be in his way. No Poole for the second team / starters when you need them if somebody gets hurt. I would have rolled the dice with that to see.
Well, because
the Draymond, there was no point production being replaced. That wasn't going to be something you needed to work for.
If the Warriors don't trade Jordan Poole for Chris Paul and they let Draymond Green walk, Guru, how can you say they're a championship team? Or they have a chance to
I just said I'd want to see it. I wouldn't rule it out.
But you're ruling it out now.
Because the truth of the matter is they weren't a championship team with Dre and Jordan Poole. We just saw that. 6 games.
So, and they're definitely not now.
No, it ain't about not now. It's about how I feel right now. I don't think they're better.
I don't disagree with you at all. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are.
Matt. We always knew what they were.
Listen, I don't
felt
listen.
like it.
They ain't. If Draymond Green comes back, if Draymond Green walks, they might win 44 games. They may win the next play. They may win a playoff series just like last year.
Could they win 44 with Dre playing if he comes back? That's
probably.
So it's the same almost, except you got
I'm not against
90.
I don't think they're a playoff team either way.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that, but
of course I've said that. if Jordan Poole were still here, they bring Draymond Green back, and you think that team's going to make a run and win it all? To me, that's preposterous.
Well, that's where I go back to my list that I was running off to you all last week about the extenuating circumstances that surrounded this team.
Okay.
And that's Andrew Wiggins, the punch.
Why were there extenuating circumstances?
Wiggins had to leave.
What about Draymond?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
so now
Draymond-
we're a year removed from all that, Steiny.
So
there's no drama is what I was hoping
Please.
for.
Please. There'll be no drama with. See, this is kind of where I do wonder about Joe Lacob's quote unquote, like how much he focuses on team building. I mean, damn it.
Well,
You just had, you brought Bob Myers back. He had 1 year on his deal. You got nothing done with Bob Myers. Bob Myers. And then think about this for a sec. Let's take Joe Lacob at his word. The season comes to an end. Bob Myers walks, and he goes, well, I'm pretty surprised. I just didn't think he was going to walk. Why not?
well, that's
Okay, so now we got Steve Kerr. He's got 1 more year left. Is he getting an extension? I don't know. But let's say he doesn't. What, a year from now he's going to be like, well, I'm surprised Steve's leaving. Why?
Wow.
You didn't give him a contract extension. Well, I didn't expect Clay to struggle. Well, he's got stuff on his mind. He's having a contract year. Like,
That's all legit.
That crap matters.
Well, it does.
Jonathan Kuminga, what's going on? Well, you know what? It's his 3rd year in the league. He wants to get paid and to play. That's all, man. I mean,
That's all valid.